Hello again, everybody. This is Lance Russell with Championship Wrestling with another big week. Join us right now.
Hey, welcome. Oh,
Just going through puberty, I see.
hey, welcome to the Double Dropkick Show. I'm Heath Mullikin.
And I'm Mark Whitman.
And we're a little bit behind on some stuff, but today on this episode, we're going to talk about some pop culture stuff. We're going to talk about Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel it's been, by the time this episode comes out, it's probably been a month since the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling, spoiler alert, I feel like we're well beyond
I think
the
you just
embargo.
say that at the beginning, and if people, you shouldn't listen to this if you don't want to know anything about it.
So the way that I want this conversation to flow is I want to start with Avengers Endgame, okay? And then I want to jump off of there and talk about the other Marvel movies of the last 10 years. Because when you think about it, it's been 10 years, and Endgame, if I'm counting correctly, was the 22nd movie. Like, it doesn't feel like we got 2 movies a year for 10 years, but I guess we did.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a pretty impressive schedule. So, again, spoiler alert. Listen, if you care about Avengers Endgame and you haven't seen it by now, you don't really care about Avengers Endgame.
No.
So, here we go. What were your thoughts on Avengers Endgame?
It was good.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for listening. No, the viewing experience for me, the first hour or so, I was watching it and I'm in it, but I was thinking, this doesn't have a whole lot of action so far.
Uh-huh.
I was like, man, I need this to kind of pick up a little bit. And then the last hour,
Yeah.
doggy.
Well, I think it started out with a bang,
Right.
and then it was kind of shocking.
But the more that I've thought about it, is that the emotion that I was feeling in the movie, that man, this is kind of dragging. Yeah, that's what that would have actually felt like. And the
Yeah.
more I thought about it, I thought, genius. Well, I didn't like the first half of the movie. You weren't supposed to like the first half of the movie. They had just lost. All your heroes
Right.
had
It was
lost.
sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I don't like that this is making me sad. And that made okay, if the first half of the movie is not such a downer, then when you hear, I'm on your left, that's not as great a moment. You cried. I teared up.
Cat, that was awesome.
Yes.
There were a couple of moments in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you one of my favorite moments was when Thor went back to Asgard and he stuck his hand out and he grabbed it and he said, I'm still worthy.
Yeah.
Like, and it became like he became himself kind of again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just this great moment where he had been beating himself up for all these years and he said, I'm still worthy.
Yeah. The conversation he has with his mom.
Oh, man.
And he's like, Mom, I need to tell you something. She's like, no. She's like, I'm a witch. I know what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
when Ant-Man, when he sees his daughter, who's grown up while he's been gone. All the feels, man. That movie made me feel. Even
Me
since
too.
sitting here talking about it.
We were in there, and Thor's he's getting beat, and Thanos has got him down, and you see the hammer come up off of the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, and my nephew and I were watching together, and it was that was really special for us because we saw Iron Man.
Yeah.
And he's 18, he's graduating, and he's going in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And just for us to sit there and watch that movie together and kind of that was the emotional weight of it for me, was that he's grown up. And, And we were kind of hanging out in the parking lot afterwards, just talking. And I mean,
Yeah.
I got emotional because that was what we always did. We've seen all these,
Yeah.
we've gone and seen almost. We didn't see the Ant-Man movies, Black Panther, or Doctor Strange together.
Yeah.
But I think we saw all the other ones.
Right. It really is it's an end of an era.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like I've just been thinking too. You got Rise of Skywalker coming out in December. It's this weird for people our age. It's this really weird season of life to where, no matter what Marvel does, okay, or what Star Wars does, they'll never be. They could, they consider this, I guess this has been 4 phases, but it's like this first big chapter. There'll never be anything. They could do this a couple more times, but they can't duplicate because they're not going to have these same heroes, these same actors who came to embody these characters. It was it was special. As a pop culture phenomenon, it was special.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I felt like, what better way? You start with Iron Man. And the whole thing of Tony Stark is he is the most selfish person in the world.
Right. And as you got the list there, I hated Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Because he was selfish. And he created this suit where he could be Iron Man but not put himself in danger.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, to see the full, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see that he came full circle.
Right.
And he's the guy that sacrificed to save everybody. Whereas he had been this guy that created this suit that he didn't even have to be in.
See, I felt the opposite. To me, in Iron Man 3, he became even more vulnerable. Like, to me, that he separated himself from the suit. I think he's trying to create 1,000 suits. He's trying to help and save more people.
Okay.
And I think his crisis was, man, the suit doesn't even need me.
Mm-hmm.
What good am I to anybody?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
See, I just felt the opposite. I felt like he was never in any real danger. Even though I guess they blew his house up and tried to kill him. I don't know. It was just, as I was watching it, I didn't like some of the things in Iron Man 3.
Now, the kid in Iron Man 3 is the kid at the funeral
Right.
in Endgame. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that till my nephew told me.
Who would have ever, to me, that's the beautiful thing of all of this, is we get over 10 years, we got this story arc of Tony Stark. He goes from a house on the beach to a house in the woods.
Yeah.
He goes from being the most selfish to knowing, to Doctor Strange holds up that one finger. And he realizes, I got to do this. And I realize that to me, that's what being a hero is. Is when you do the right thing, no matter what the personal cost is to you.
But you're right though. That scene when all is lost.
Yeah.
And you hear it the way he hears it. What was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes you a second to realize, oh man, like they're showing up. Like everybody's here to fight, man. And to make this last stand. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I thought it ended beautifully. I really did. Like very seldom Game of Thrones and stuff, very seldom do things end the way you want them to end. And I just thought it was beautiful, man. They did well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done, Marvel.
Thank you, Marvel.
And watching, as we talked about the Infinity, the one from last year, wasn't a big fan because I didn't see the big picture.
Yeah.
But then to see, those two movies just go so well together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's about time to sit down and watch them all
Yeah,
there'll be a
that's kind
time
of what I
to
was
spend
thinking.
6 hours and watch it
Yeah,
all.
I'm definitely going to watch both of those together when it comes out on Blu-ray.
I think
Actually, I won't have to because it'll come out. I think when Disney Plus launches, it'll be on Disney Plus. I think that's one of the big. That's one of the big selling points for that. All that stuff. I mean, they're going to put Netflix out of business.
did you know that Disney controls Hulu now?
Yeah, they always have.
But now they
own
really
it.
do.
Right. Yeah, they own the majority share of it now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Netflix, who is coming out at raising their prices with their subpar TV that they're doing right now, is going to be able to compete with $7 for Disney Plus. I mean, dude, think about all the stuff that they got.
Right.
I mean, even just the Disney stuff.
Yeah, even if it's just the Disney animated movies. That's $6.99 a month.
That's huge.
I'd pay that.
Yeah,
I am going to pay that.
Yeah. I'm letting Netflix know you're probably done at the Whitman household.
Right.
When that comes out.
Yeah. We already canceled Hulu. Yeah, so I think Captain America got what he always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You get that. To me, I think Thor, he's coming back around and I hope he's in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I think he will be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
My
nephew said, I've cut my hair since then, but there was definitely some. Wow, Thor turned into you. Jokes being made, yeah. I don't have the long hair and the long beard anymore, but yeah, he definitely was cracking jokes about being Thor. Yeah,
my kid said, "Dad, you could be Thor for Halloween now." I'm like, very funny. Shut up. So looking back over the Marvel Cinematic Universe, being honest again, I don't know. I think I saw Thor 2. Yeah, I saw Thor 2.
Oh, it was awful. The Dark World.
But
not a great movie.
Not one. Yeah, but I'm like, okay, I'm not.
They made up for it with Ragnarok.
To me, people that and I talked to somebody who was trying to poke holes in all the time travel, and I'm just like, man, I don't care.
Yeah,
How did it make me feel?
Right. Yeah, it's not logical. None of it really is going to happen.
Right. Like when I watch wrestling, how did it make me feel? And I will say this. There has been wrestling that in the moment made me feel something.
Mm-hmm.
And upon second look, I was like, well,
and then I would go past it and I wouldn't feel it anymore.
I was like, and I would look back and I'm like, well, that was terrible. But in the moment, you hear the crowd and, and you get caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and watch it like, this was terrible. And movies are like that sometimes. But listen, so off the top of your head, and I've got a list here, what were some of your favorite movies from this?
The first Iron Man.
Yep.
I love. Thor Ragnarok is probably, of all this, and I may be missing something that I'm just not thinking of, but of all this standalone films, yeah, Thor Ragnarok is probably my favorite.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was fun. That may be my favorite. Well, let me see the list.
All right, you got Iron Man 1, 2, and 3.
Loved the first one. Liked the second one. Didn't care for the third one.
The first one I've seen 5 to 10 times. Second one I probably saw twice. Third one I saw once. Thor 1, 2, and 3. Thor 1.
I liked the first Thor. I didn't like the second one. Obviously, there again, loved Ragnarok. It's probably my favorite.
Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. These aren't in any certain
Captain America
order.
was good.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier was incredible.
Yeah.
Right up there with Thor.
Yeah.
Probably just maybe right below Thor Ragnarok is my second favorite standalone. And then it would either be that or Iron Man would be number 2. And it would be number 3. Civil War would definitely, which is almost an Avengers movie, let's be honest.
No, right.
That was another Avengers movie. Yeah, it was great. I loved it too.
Winter Soldier.
I've watched it a couple of times. That's why I know I like it.
Winter Soldier was just so good at it. It was such a good comic story.
Oh, it was incredible. It was a great espionage, like Bourne type movie.
Yeah.
It was great. Man.
Yeah.
That scene in the elevator that they redid.
Oh, hell, Hydra.
Come on, man.
How awesome was that?
Yeah,
You know what? Endgame. What made it incredible was the crowd reaction.
Right.
When he gets Thor's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. That was a good pop when everybody appears. Here's the thing. Let's tie this into wrestling a little bit. If you're an aspiring babyface wrestler, what made Avengers Endgame so awesome was that all hope was lost.
Right.
Captain America got his butt kicked.
Right. And then he fired up. Thor got his butt kicked. Then he made the hot tag to Captain America.
And Captain America came back and then got beat down again.
Right. And then he made the hot tag to everybody. And there was a run-in. That was... Wasn't he made the hot tag? There was a run-in.
Right.
All the baby faces showed up to help him.
It was great. For real.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. That's wrestling for you.
That's set up the way a wrestling match works. Yes.
But now everybody wants both of those movies in one match on Monday Night Raw.
And they want to see everybody do all their stuff.
Right. Right. And the fact is, in Endgame, you got to see Spider-Man for 5% of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see Black Panther 5% of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody gets to be the star.
The Guardians of the Galaxy hardly in it at all.
Right.
Everybody shows up at the end.
But they all played their role.
Right.
They all knew their part. We didn't need a bunch of one-liners. Endgame is the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's played their role on the undercard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I would even say, and I'm going to beat this into the ground, so I'm going to take this maybe farther than I can. I would even say Thor 2. None of we're all leading to Endgame.
Right.
None of these really needs to outshine. Like Thor 2, I don't know. I mean, Thor 2 was not good.
No.
It was not good. I'm not saying it was good.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to say I don't think Thor 2 is as bad as we think it is. It was bad, but maybe not as bad as we think it is.
I think it's worse.
Because but as part of it,
Mm-hmm.
they don't at the end they don't want us talking about Thor 2. They want us talking about Endgame.
True.
Thor 2 did what it was supposed to do. It introduced the ether. It had a bad villain. Everything about it was bad.
Right.
But
That's true.
if every match on your card is a 5-star match, then none of them are a 5-star match.
That's true.
That's why I was talking to some young guys, and I'm like, the first match doesn't need to be a Dave Meltzer 5-star match. Mm-hmm. Dave Meltzer may say your opening match was 2 stars, but in the grand scheme of things, if you do what the show needed you to do and what the crowd needed you to do, that's 5 stars. And that's what I would say about these. I would say, Doctor Strange, you're just a little minor character. Mm-hmm. Thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, Doctor Strange was the guy. Doctor Strange pulled a brand. He kind of gone for he's not even there for most of the 10 years. Comes in, gets a big role at the end.
Yeah. Like Brock Lesnar in the Money in the Bank match.
There's some fans like, I can't believe Doctor Strange got that spot. He didn't earn that spot. How come Doctor Strange gets to be the guy to come in? Doctor Strange I can't believe that.
Right.
I should have been Agent Hill. That should have been her. Where's Nick Fury? That should have been Nick Fury.
Where's Nick Fury? Yeah. Where's Agent Carter? Why didn't they bring out Agent Carter? Should have been the one to show back up.
Okay, let's go through Guardians.
I was trying to copy your voice. What you were doing. Guardians of the Galaxy, great. I love it.
I like both of those. I liked all the Avengers.
Yeah, especially the first one.
Yeah.
I love the first Avengers.
Because we just never seen anything like that.
No, I can remember watching it with my nephew thinking, God, I wish I could have watched this at his age.
Yeah.
I wish I could have said, like it's blowing my mind now.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine if I'd been like 11 watching.
Now they're
this movie.
spoiled.
Yeah.
They're spoiled.
They don't know how good they got it, man.
Have you seen Captain Marvel?
No, haven't seen it yet.
He's all right. Doctor Strange.
Didn't see it.
So, how do I say this? I thought Captain Marvel was going to be a much bigger deal in Endgame than she was.
They swerved us, and I liked it. As I actually thought that, because that was the big story. Oh, Captain Marvel's going to do this, and Captain Marvel's going to do that. I loved the fact
I thought
that they kind of put that red herring there, that you were thinking she's going to show up and do this and that, and then she didn't.
right. She had the right amount of role.
Yes.
In that movie.
Yes, I agree.
No more, no less. It was
Right.
perfect.
She was almost everybody was perfect. They had, you know what I mean? Like they were there for the amount of time that you got
Right.
Stark seeing Spider-Man, like when he saw saw Peter Parker. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, and he just hugged him.
Yeah.
You know, that was a touching moment.
Um,
And I loved that Stark was in this position where, how do we change time? Because I'm not willing to give her up, his daughter. I'm not willing to give her up to bring all those people back.
right.
So how do you? You know, I'm not going back in time and changing what happened, because what happened led to her. I thought that was brilliant to add that.
Yeah. Yeah. If we took the time.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm no quantum physicist, as you,
Right.
Because I probably mispronounced.
Because somebody said.
I did, didn't I?
No, you're quantum physicist.
Okay, I thought you were going. Yeah, you did.
But like somebody said, Spider-Man's been gone 5 years. Comes back, he's still in high school. I'm like, well, he came back at the same age he left.
This is true.
Did their whole high school? Did it just so happen? Anyway, I don't want to.
That's a good point. That is a great point. Hadn't thought about it. Huge plot hole.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You ruined it for me. Ant-Man's daughter grew up. Everybody in Peter Parker's high school stayed the same age.
Well, they were gone. They disappeared.
All of them.
Hey, it's fiction.
That's true. I had not even thought about that. That's a good one.
You said you hadn't seen Black Panther. It's pretty good. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I think I've seen it
did
twice.
see that.
2-3
Yeah, I
times.
saw it once. It was good. It was all right.
Ant-Man 1 and 2.
Didn't see you.
Saw both of those once.
Didn't see either one.
Hulk with Ed Norton.
Yeah, I really liked it. I
Yeah.
like the Hulk anyway. Hulk's always been one of my favorite characters. I'm disappointed in his role in the last two movies, though.
See, I
would like to have seen the Hulk
I think we all wanted to see Hulk.
rip a little bit of tail
Yeah.
in Endgame. I really was looking forward to that, and it didn't happen.
He became more of it was his brains.
True.
Brains over
True.
brawn.
But I guess he did lift everybody up and save everybody there at the end. But I wanted to see him and Thanos. That's really what I thought we were going to get, was a big where Hulk would just whoop him. you
Yeah.
know?
So you open this door. We're going to go here. And I don't want to go here. So you go back in time. Thanos from Back in Time comes to the future.
Mhm.
Now, if this were Back to the Future, if Thanos from the past dies in the future, doesn't that negate everything that he did?
Man, I don't know. I don't know about all that. Now we're getting way too deep into it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This is not meant for you to get. It's comic
No,
books.
it's just meant to enjoy it. See, what did I say? We just kind of glossed over this. What I wanted to see,
Yeah.
what I hoped I would have seen, was the Hulk
Right.
show up and beat Thanos up.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
Right.
But I didn't get online and gripe about it because my fantasy booking didn't come true.
Right. Right.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
I still got a great movie. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. And you got to see it with your nephew. And what
Right. That was the important
we
thing.
remember I'll always remember how that movie made me feel.
It was a great movie. It really was, man. They did it right, man. The scene when the hammer comes up off the ground
Every audience seeing that movie for the first time popped for that.
And knew that it was Captain America. Everybody knows that it's Captain America that's picking the thing up because they teased it.
Yeah.
2 movies ago.
Yeah.
That was going to happen.
So somebody said, I read a really good interview, and somebody said, well, he couldn't pick it up in Age of Ultron. And they're like, no, he could. He just didn't.
Right.
Because he didn't want to.
He didn't want to.
He didn't want to show anybody up.
Mm-hmm. Because he's a good guy.
Right.
He's a good guy.
Captain America is the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is why he could pick it up.
Right. He was worthy. And the fact of the matter is, the reason that most of us don't like some of this stuff and we gripe about it is we're not.
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
That's awesome.
And I think so.
We're not worthy.
I think so many times we see an Endgame. And I honestly believe that a lot of the trolls, we see these people make the right decisions. Mm-hmm. We see them benefit sometimes or pay the price for a right decision.
That's what it is, because sometimes doing the right thing,
costs you
there's a
everything.
great scene, Sin of a Woman.
Mm-hmm.
When Al Pacino gives that great speech where he said, there have been many times, I forget, I'm not even going to try to do it because it's so good, but pull it up where I knew every time, without exception, I knew, but I never did it because it was too damn hard.
Right.
Right. And that's so true. Doing the right thing is hard sometimes. Right. As I've got older, I try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was young, I was a little bit more impulsive and I didn't care the things that I said or you know what I mean? And as I've gotten older, I'm like, man, just do better.
Yeah.
Be better. That's my thing when I tell my nephew all the time, it's just be better.
Right.
Be better, man. And that's like what I'm trying to do is be better. And I would say that, and I know and I don't want to appropriate anything, but the rumble, young man, rumble thing that Muhammad Ali said.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, it was just an expression that he used, rumble, young man, rumble.
Yeah.
And it has become kind of a battle cry for young African American men.
Yeah.
But I think it extends far beyond that. I think and it kind of means what you want it to mean. It means be better, man. Rumble, young man, rumble.
Yeah.
Get out there and make your way and just be better.
Yeah, we've been, we're 5 years into this podcast, 5.5 years. And I think back to when we first started, and you and I think we both have changed so much for the better. I mean, at our heart, we're still the same guys. Mm-hmm. But I think we've done, we've tried to, it seems like it's only been 5 years, but it seems like it's been, it seems like so much longer than that. When you think about everything we've done, started the podcast, got involved in wrestling, got uninvolved in wrestling, got deep in wrestling, and been, places we've been and things we've done and people we have gotten to meet. We've packed a lot into those, and I think our aspirations especially for the podcast or doing the podcast, I don't even know if we had any aspirations. But because when we first started podcasting, nobody was podcasting. Well, we talk about this all the time. Bears repeating. Oh, Steve Austin got a podcast? What's a podcast? Bob Cottle, Mr. Cottle, will you please? What's a podcast?
What's a podcast?
Well, Mr. Cottle, nobody knew when we started this podcast. Who's going to listen to a wrestling podcast?
Right. Now
we didn't make the little list, but whose list I did make? Mine.
Yeah.
I'm my favorite podcast.
I don't do this I've never, I don't care about notoriety,
right?
Fame. Matter of fact, just the opposite. I want to make sure nobody knows who I am.
Right. So I probably shouldn't have put your picture on a couple of banners.
Well, I don't mind that because it's a caricature of me, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I prefer people not to know who I am.
So I'm the opposite.
I know, Heath.
And that's what makes this work.
I know that you are, you know, and you know, we've talked about it before, man. You people love you, and that's just the way it is, man. And people tend to not like me.
Yeah, but I think
Not that people don't like me. I just I have a different personality, and they don't know how to take it sometimes.
Right.
Because I'm mean.
Everybody that knows you, though.
Yeah. They know that I'm.
Yeah, they know that you're. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mean.
Right.
And it's
evil, mean, and nasty.
And I don't even like. To me, I just say mean stuff because I think it's funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's the way it is.
Right. Well, I'm not going to press charges against you. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, the whole point of this is we've enjoyed the last 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think there for a while, bringing it back to wrestling, I think there for a while, DC was trying to duplicate what Marvel was doing.
That's where they made a mistake.
And DC needs to go AEW.
Uh-huh.
DC needs to say, first of all, I may be wrong on this. Comic-wise, DC's kicking Marvel's butt.
Mm-hmm.
Selling more comics. Comics make more sense. But yeah, I think DC needs to kind of be like, hey, maybe all our movies don't need to connect.
Right.
And maybe we make movies that aren't even in the same, like the Joker movies coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That looks very entertaining.
Yes,
Batman's not even going to be in that movie, I don't think.
Well, we'll see. I know. I'm not expecting a huge Batman, but you got to think there's going to be a nod.
So Gotham just ended, and I didn't watch any of this season. I've got it recorded. I'm going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
When the show first started, it was all about, well, Batman's not going to be in the show. Batman's going to be in this show. And then the last episode, Batman's in the show. Yeah, I don't know. To me, Gotham, I
watched the first season and thought it was good. I mean, I didn't think it was great.
Right.
But
I wish I guess to me, Gotham did not deliver on what they promised. Because I'm thinking, okay, this is a show about before Batman. So it's just going to be a regular crime show.
Right.
But then they brought in all the villains.
Yeah.
What is the point of all the villains without Batman?
Right. And that's why I kind of didn't watch it. Because I thought and I thought they did this so well in the Nolan movies that those villains came about because he raised the game.
Right.
Instead of those villains already pre-existing.
Right.
Before he became the Batman. Maybe I'm wrong. You know a lot more about it than
No, I think you're exactly right. Because all the people, anytime you're reading a Batman comic, all the psychologists say, well, we wouldn't have the Joker if we didn't have a Batman. And Batman's causing all this crime. And
right.
Batman's causing all these supervillains. And I just felt like if Gotham had just been Jim Gordon, corrupt city, dealing with the mob, no Penguin. When you hear, there's going to be a character called Fish Mooney, dude, that's awesome. But then, even the Bullock, loved that. But then it's just like, no, I've already seen these villains. Give me the.
Well, I thought the idea of this guy who's going to become the Penguin.
Right.
Was okay.
Yeah.
And this guy's going to become the Riddler.
Yes.
Is fine. But to see them, you know what I mean? Like
right.
doing it prematurely before Batman shows up doesn't make any sense. But if you have this character that's going to become that, I get that.
Yes.
That makes sense to me because it ain't like all of a sudden Cobblepot woke up one day and decided, I think I'll be the Penguin. There's clearly a transformation that happened over time there.
Yeah.
So
even though from the very beginning they were calling him Were they calling him Penguin in the beginning?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe they were.
I don't know.
And then I guess he just embraced being the Penguin. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't watch it. But that's never stopped me before from giving my expert analysis.
Yeah, I mean, both Gotham and Arrow these seasons, I recorded them. I just haven't gone back and watched them yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just.
I was really into The Flash, man, and I quit watching it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, there's so.
I think there's
many
just
things.
here's what I think. It happened with Lost. It's happened with The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think they start these shows, and they have these great story arcs, and then the show gets a little successful, and the arc, instead of doing this and getting to where they intended to go, now the network's like, well, we need a couple of more seasons.
Right.
So then, instead of going from here to here, there's this thing that happens.
Yeah.
And it's just janky.
Yeah.
But, whereas if you just let them do the 4 seasons that they wanted to do, they would have told this great story. But we added 3 seasons in between, and you got to fill those 22 episodes out, And that's what keeps happening with. That's why, man, I don't know how many shows I've started and just not finished.
Right.
For that reason.
Yeah.
Smallville, I loved it. Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, all these shows. I start watching them. They're great shows, and then I just lose interest.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think part of it is when a show starts, for the most part, if I'm not mistaken, you do a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the pilot's
based on the strength of those other shows,
yeah, you do a pilot. And
you are aware that there's something called television. You're doing Pulp Fiction here,
right?
They create a pilot based on the strength and the performance of of the pilot. The network decides if they want to make more episodes,
right? And then
some of them go on to be shows, some of them become nothing. And she was in one of the ones that became nothing.
And you write a season, and it's self-contained. But when you finish that first season, Kevin Feige, or Feig or whatever, they did Iron Man 1, they kind of think we want to do this, but they don't know if they can.
Right. You have to see what the reaction is going to be to it.
And
so you create this ending. Okay, if we want to make more, we can. But if this is all we get to do, it gets wrapped up.
Right. And to their credit, to Marvel's credit, once they realized, once they're bought by Disney, they're like, okay, we got the money to do this. They mapped the whole thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the reason it was such a satisfying ending is they weren't having to course correct, and they weren't having to. And
I'll tell you another thing that what I think happens too with some of these. Because this is what I heard happen with Game of Thrones. I don't know. It's just this thing that I read. You have this Kevin Feige guy or whatever that's pretty much been the godfather of all these films.
Yes.
So he has kept the creative direction in a certain way. And what I've heard had happened with a lot of times with these shows, like Game of Thrones specifically, was you started out with this group of writers, but then because of the success of the show, they start getting other opportunities.
Right.
And that a bunch of the ones who were responsible for a lot of the major stories in Game of Thrones were hired to work on the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Because they were so good. So now you've lost the good writers that you had, and then you bring new guys in, and they got a different idea.
This is what I think happened. I don't want to spoil Game of Thrones. I'll just say, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
But this last season of Game of Thrones, they're not working off the book. You have to think the books. I think we talked about this before. Maybe the books were so detailed. You had so much backstory. You had so much motivation. They've gone into this season. They didn't have that.
Right.
And that's what happened. It could not. There's no way it could have been as good because they're having to come up with it on the fly.
Right.
They're having to guess. And I'm curious if the books are going to end the same way the show did. But what I'm saying is, we got to manage our expectations. And if we should have known, okay? And I'm not talking about the ending. I'm talking about just the flow of the season, the pace of the season. It was going to feel different because it was different. Because they're coming up with stuff from scratch. And they're not using and sorry, I'm getting all hyperventilated.
No, all right, man.
But even what you said, it's a combination of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then So I yeah. And then it's like, where do you go? Where do you go with some of these characters? I think back to some of the finales. A lot of people didn't like the Seinfeld finale. What were they going to do? Were they just going to continue remaining going about their life? That was the thing about Cheers. You got to the end of the Cheers, nothing changed.
That which I thought was brilliant.
Right.
He
decides. Sam Malone has spent all these years thinking he wants something more, and he realizes, no, this is exactly.
He's got all he needs.
Right. I'm the luckiest alive. I'm the luckiest man alive. Like Friends, they're all not friends. I mean, they're friends, but they're all moving away. They're going, because that's the natural progression of life. What I'll say, and this is for me, at the end of Game of Thrones, I told a friend this morning, everybody I wanted to live lived, and they all were doing what they wanted to do from the beginning of the show, what they really longed for. They got to do, man, I would love to do this. If you talk to Arya, and I'm not want to spoil, but if you talk to Arya Stark, Arya, when this is all over, what do you want to do? Well, I'd like to do this. That's what's going to happen. So I have no complaints. I mean,
except for Theon, because he got his Peely Packer chopped off. But
what?
Early on,
but even Theon in season 8 comes full circle. Had done some irredeemable things that he finds out in the end were redeemable, and he, the last words he hears. Spoiler alert. The last words Theon hears is, "You're a good man." Yeah, I don't know. I'll say, I've been listening to the, because here's the great thing about Game of Thrones is that the universe has expanded so much. So I've been listening to the book Fire and Blood, which is about all the Targaryens from the Conquest. That's been fascinating. That's a movie. That's a series waiting to happen right there.
Well, they're doing that, right? Aren't they doing a
They're
prequel
doing a
series?
prequel, but it's like 1,000 years. It's like when the first, whatever. So I think, man, dude, to me, they've got an opportunity to make some money.
My opinion is.
But here's the thing now, our Game of Thrones fans are going to be so disappointed in the finale. Because they're marks.
They're just like wrestling
We
fans.
are
They
marks.
They just gripe about it. They're still going to watch it.
If, you see, we got Funkos here. If you're watching the video, they could put out a bad Funko tomorrow. You know what people are going to do? They still going to buy Funkos.
Yeah, they're just not going to buy the bad ones. Or you'll wait and you'll pick them up on clearance.
Right. I did pick them
the
up.
The ones that nobody buys, you'll be able to pick them up on clearance.
Found out that wasn't true anyway, but anyway. Oh, well. We got a nice little collection going here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm going to do is make you sit behind the shelf. So the collection is more prominent. We just get your voice.
I heard that.
We don't see you.
You got a Frito Corleone.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this before.
That was the one they had.
Right.
If I could find if I ever see a Michael or a Sonny or a Don, I'll get that.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Right.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what I hope?
What?
I hope Marvel makes a bunch more movies. You think they will?
Nah, I think they're probably done. I think that kind of does it. Wraps her all up.
All right.
Tied a nice little bow around that. Nobody's interested in seeing the further adventures of any of these characters.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So, hey, we'd love to know what you think. You can comment on this on the website at doubledropkick.com. You can leave us a comment. We post this on Facebook. It's posted on YouTube. Hey, we'd love to hear, what did you think about Avengers Endgame? Joe, you didn't get to be a part of this discussion. Joe, you got a podcast. You can bring me on your podcast. We'll have a podcast summit, and I'll talk about the Avengers Endgame and stuff, because I know Joe and I had some different opinions on some of this. Joe doesn't like the space stuff.
Yeah.
Anything to do with space, he's not a fan of. It's totally cool. Hey, to each his own. To each his own. But we love to know what you think. This is what we think. And if so that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, let us know what you think. Download, rate, subscribe to podcasts. We're on Twitter. I'm at Heath Mullikin.
I'm at the DDK show.
Every time we get together to record, I'm like, okay, I need to remember to say this and this and this. Oh, I do need to remember. SOSCustomTees.com. Great sponsor of the show. That's where you can get Double Dropkick Show apparel. That's where you can also get one of a kind, okay? SOS Custom Tees has gotten into the trading card business. And it is the only place you're not only going to get, because some people like autograph cards, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We got those. We've also got, like Ricky Morton, it's an autographed Ricky Morton card, but it's got ring-worn gear from when Rock and Roll Express wrestled, I think it's Survivor Series. So it's got ring-worn gear. It's both. It's a memorabilia card, and it's autographed. And I just saw the picture the other day. They may be released by now of Sandman signing his cards. So, hey, you can support, this company. Listen, the list of names I've heard. Do we have a lot of local wrestlers? We've given them the opportunity to get trading cards, which is awesome. But we're getting a lot of the ECW originals. It'll be the only place to get memorabilia cards with them. Also, hey, SOSCustomNetwork.com, $4.99 a month. If you like independent wrestling from the South, it is where you can get some of the best. And it's the best, it's just the best. So it's a lot of fun. So, lots going on. I guess, when we record next, I'm trying to think what other movies would be out. Dark Phoenix is getting ready to come out. I'm curious about that. I'm not dying to see that.
Brightburn comes out tomorrow.
Brightburn comes out tonight. If you want to go see it,
that's true.
That's going to be. The marketing for that has been phenomenal.
It has.
Is it a Warner Brothers movie? Because I
think so. I'm not 100% sure. I know that it was supposed to have come out last year.
Because the kid basically, spoiler alert, has all of. It's a Superman story.
Yeah.
Like, this is the movie we've all been waiting for. What if?
Yeah.
Like, this is Batman's worst fears coming to life.
Right. I'm curious, because maybe I'm wrong. I wonder if the trailers are only showing us the first 15, 20 minutes of this movie.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I know a guy who likes to find spoilers. I can find that out for you.
I want to see it myself.
Yeah.
I want to see it myself. It'll probably be a few weeks before I get to, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, not like you got anything going on the next couple of weeks. Hey, we don't have anything going on. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but anyway, hey, we thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, for the Double Dropkick Show, I'm Heath Mullikin.
And I'm Mark Whitman.
And that's it this week, fans. So long for now.